poetry. It's the last poetry. All right, my friends, this is one of my favorite poems. I saved it till the end, and it is called the I Am poem. It's kind of like the bio poem a little bit, but it's a little bit longer, and it asks a lot more kind of in detail of things, and I really, really like it. So I'm going to explain it to you, and then today and tomorrow you're going to finish writing it and typing it up for me and submitting that, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. So you're going to go to your very last page, and it is called the I Am poem. Now, in parentheses, which are these little brackets, you're going to get hints on what they're asking for in that particular line, okay? Now, it's really important that the first line of your poem be something that's very, very accurate about you and means a lot to you, because line 1 is going to be repeated in the poem 4 times. So it has to be something that means something to you. So look at this first line. It says, I am. And then it wants you to write 2 special characteristics. What are 2 things about you that you're most proud of, or that describe you the best, or that other people maybe compliment you on, or that you feel the best about or good about? So I chose that I am a good friend, because that's important to me, and I'm compassionate. That means I care about things and I care about other people. Those are 2 things that are important to me, and they're 2 things that I want to repeat 4 times in my poem. Okay, so the first line of my poem is, I am a good friend and compassionate. So I want you to think, what are your 2 strongest characteristics? All right. Now, the next line says, I wonder. So this is something that you're actually curious about. What's something that you wonder? Do you wonder about what life is like on Mars? Do you wonder if there's life on Mars? Do you wonder about what it would be like to live back in the pioneer days? Do you wonder what school would have been like if the coronavirus hadn't come? What's something that you wonder about? So I wonder about when we can get back to life before we had COVID-19. When can we get back to that life that we had? Okay. And then the next line says, I hear. Now, some of these say an imaginary sound. It doesn't have to be imaginary. In fact, most of my poem isn't necessarily something imaginary. Okay, so when you see the word imaginary, don't think, oh, I have to think of something imaginary. It can be realistic too. Okay, so I'm going to think of a sound that I like to hear. Okay, and then I'm going to think of something that I like to see. Now, again, it says an imaginary sight. It could be. So maybe you say, I see flying unicorns, or I see Captain America in my bedroom. Okay, whatever you want to say that suits you and your personality, you can put that. Okay, now the next line is I want. This is an actual desire. What's something that you want? Okay, it doesn't have to be something physical. It could be something mental. It could be something with the world. Okay, now this on the last line, I want you to look. It says I am, and then it says the first line of the poem repeated. So I'm going to repeat, a good friend and compassionate. Okay, so I want to share with you my poem so far. So, I am a good friend and compassionate. I wonder when we can get back to life before COVID-19. I hear the giggles of students. I see rainbows in the sky. I want to visit Hawaii someday. I am a good friend and compassionate. All right, do you see how that worked? All right, now the next part of the poem, again, are going to be things that are about you. So, I pretend. What's something you pretend to like or dislike? I feel. Now, again, it says a feeling about something imaginary. Doesn't have to be imaginary. What's something that you feel? What's an emotion or a feeling that you have? The next line says, I touch. So what's something that you can touch that you like? I worry. Now you're going to think about something that really worries you or bothers you. I cry. What's something that you cry over? What's something that makes you feel sad? And then you're going to repeat the poem, the first line of the poem, and I'm going to say a good friend and compassionate. Remember, that was my first line. So let me share with you my second stanza of the poem. I pretend I like teaching online. I don't like it. I wish I were there with you, but I pretend like I like it. All right, I feel happy and frustrated sometimes. I touch my fairy garden. I worry about my students and how much I miss them. I cry because the school year is over. I am a good friend and compassionate. Do you see how I repeated that line right there? And that line right there? And then again, so this is my third time. All right. Now the last stanza, a stanza is the groups of words that are the groups of lines that are in a poem. So then the last one is I understand. So on that one, you're going to write something that you know is true. I say, what's something that you say? Something, or I dream. What's something that you dream about? It could be an actual dream, or it could be something that you just want to do someday. I try. What's something that you try? Is it a sport? Singing? What is it that you try? I hope. What's something that you actually hope for? For the future, for now? What is it that you hope for? And then you're going to repeat that first line again. That's going to be our fourth repeat. All right, so here we go. My last stanza says, I understand the world is changing every day. I say I love Badger Mountain. I dream about swimming with dolphins. I try to have a positive attitude and smile. I hope my students know how much I miss them. I am a good friend and compassionate. All right, so today I would like for you to write your I am poem, okay? I'm gonna read you mine as a flowing poem, and then we'll be done. All right. I am a good friend and compassionate. I wonder when we can get back to life before COVID-19. I hear the giggles of students. I see rainbows in the sky. I want to visit Hawaii someday. I am a good friend and compassionate. I pretend I like teaching online. I feel happy and frustrated sometimes. I touch my fairy garden. I worry about my students and how much I miss them. I cry because the school year is over. I am a good friend and compassionate. I understand the world is changing every day. I love Badger Mountain. I dream about swimming with dolphins. I try to have a positive attitude and smile. I hope my students know how much I miss them. I am a good friend and compassionate. All right, my friends, I cannot wait to hear your poems. So tomorrow, you're going to finish up anything you haven't finished with the I Am poem. You're going to type it up and you're going to submit that to me. And that, my friends, is going to be your last assignment in poetry. And today,